Chuck, good morning. My name is Roberto. I am a 26-year-old movie lover, Savasandia. It's the 10th of April 2011, and this is the first video message that I'm posting on my blog about movies. Today, I would like to discuss one particular scene of one movie that you should all be very familiar with, because the movie in question is a winner for Best Picture at the Academy Awards of 1995, and as most of you might have guessed by now, it is Forrest Gump. Before I get to the particular scene I would like to discuss with you, I think that it is necessary to have a little overview of the main people involved creatively in the making of the movie. And I think that the best place to start is the director, Robert Zemeckis. Personally, I have nothing against Robert Zemeckis, but I think that he is one of the most discontinuous and weird directors of his generation. He surprised us all with a great movie, which was Back to the Future 1. I'm not going to talk about Back to the Future 2, and especially I'm not going to talk about Back to the Future 3, which were the two sequels, the two other movies that made the trilogy, which were by far below standard compared to the first. He also directed another movie which I didn't particularly like, which was Castaway, which was, I thought, quite boring. But it was a very difficult exercise, because at the end of the day, it's the story of a guy who spends 6 years, 7 years, I don't know, 10 years alone on an island with just the company of the volleyball. So out of that material, to make a movie that lasts 2.5 hours, it takes extreme courage, guts, but it is, and it was, at least from my point of view, a failure. Another failure that he had was Polar Express, which was marked the beginning of his phase as a, not so much a director, but more of a technician. He was one of the first innovators using CSI cameras, gave 3D perspective, and he was probably, we owe him a lot for the technological improvements that we had in the last years on movie quality. However, movies are not only about the cameras with which you shoot them, it's at the end of the day all about stories and the emotions that they can pass on to you. In fact, if you think about it, when you think about a movie that you love, or that you liked, or that you watched, you always go back to one particular scene that has stuck in your mind more than the others. And this is why I'm making this post today, because I'm going to talk about the particular scene that has had an impact on me about Forrest Gump, which is a great movie and has lots of beautiful scenes, but one scene stands out, and for all of us, there's always one scene that stands out in our memory, and it is the scene that probably inspires us the most, or makes us laugh the most, or whatever it does to you or to anybody else. So Robert Zemeckis, he's probably not my favorite director. With Forrest Gump, he did an amazing movie, but it is a movie that was not written by him. It was not based on an original script like the others he made. It's a movie that is taken from a novel of John Gosling. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the only movie that was really successful at a global level, commercially and artistically, it's a movie that he didn't write, but was basically adapted from a book. The movie also has the great advantage of having some very, very strong actors, probably taken at the best times of their careers, because Sally Field, who plays the mother of Forrest Gump, the overbearing, protective, and always believing mother, it's played by Sally Field, who just came from 3-4 years from a back-to-back winning of 2 Academy Awards, so very respected at the climax of her career. And then another actor, which is a great character actor and a great, great man, and probably one of my favorite actors of all times, it's Garrison Ice, plays Lieutenant Dan Taylor. And then there is obviously, of course, the one and only Tom Hanks, who in 1993, when he shot, when they were shooting Forrest Gump, he had just finished shooting and winning an Oscar for playing the part of a first HIV lawyer in corporate New York. And he was very much getting in the maturity phase of his career. He was starting to deliver the best roles that he has had probably in a very long career, that had highs and lows. And I'm thinking about, besides Forrest Gump and Philadelphia, he also made some very cool movies, which are comedies, but at the same time they are good movies for the genre, which is Sleepless in Seattle, and he did also You Got Mail. He did Apollo 13, which is a good movie from my point of view, and he also did terrible movies like, obviously, the Dan Brown adaptations, Angels and Demons, and Pigs and Frogs, and whatever you want to call them. But in 1994, he was definitely getting into the rhythm and getting to become the best actor of his generation, which he can rightfully claim to be. Surprisingly enough, and I just thought about this now, the scene that I would like to discuss with you, it's basically the only scene in which Tom Hanks, who's the title character, who won a second Oscar for this movie, just after winning for Philadelphia. The scene is not with him. It's the scene of the young Forrest when he's bullied by some kids, and he's standing with Jenny, who in the movie is played by Robin Wright Penn. Not such a great fan of hers. And the scene in particular is when he's being bullied, and young Forrest is wearing these metal protections which are attached to his legs to help him get a better posture, I guess, when he walks, And this is a guy who lives in the Deep South. It's the late 1940s, beginning of the 1950s, and he's a little bit retarded, and he's also wearing these things on his legs. Life, it's not really smiling down on him. And he's walking back from school, and it's this huge Georgian countryside in Georgia, and he's walking home with Jenny, and all of a sudden some kids are coming behind him, and they're obviously, as usually kids do, trying to bully him by throwing rocks at him, and Jenny shouts to him to run, it's the famous words, "Run, Forrest, run," and basically he starts running, and the scene is in slow motion. It's really an amazing scene, the way it's directed, the way it's delivered, the music, the shots. It's a perfect scene because it's him running very stiffly because he can't move his legs, because his legs are imprisoned by this kind of, again, I say, metal armor, and he starts running very slowly, and he's being chased by these guys on a bicycle, which are obviously faster than him, and it's in slow motion, and then there's accelerations, and all of a sudden there's just a shot of these very skinny legs, which you feel they're entrapped into something that doesn't belong to them, and he starts pushing, and slowly this, let's say, like prisons, probably is the best way to call them, start falling apart, piece after piece, until he's completely free, and he, as he likes to say, runs off like the wind. I think this is the one scene I wanted to discuss with you about Forrest Gump, and I think it's a great scene, and it definitely made the movie a great movie for me. Hope you had fun. This was the first video message, so I'm gonna get better. I promise. Bye.